Opening with its red-cloaked heroine calmly floating to shore on a palm leaf canoe, Hua sustains a chilled-out vibe for almost the entirety of its 2-hour duration. This simple puzzle platformer pairs the stunning, hand-painted looks of a Studio Ghibli film with a modest set of game mechanics to create a gentle journey through nature that never wears out its welcome. Inspired by Vietnamese mythology, Hua's Minimalist Story revolves around the titular fairy who's sent away from her tribe as an infant after an unexplained but clearly tragic event. The adventure begins with the pint-sized Hua's return to her homeland, where she must use her magical powers to revitalize the terrain and its inhabitants. This nurturing of flora and fauna has satisfyingly practical effects on the gameplay. Sunflowers bloom as Hua moves near to create platforms out of petals, while rhino beetles can be beckoned closer to push heavy obstacles on her behalf. It's all very intuitive, to the point that Hua thankfully has no need for an on-screen interface of any sort to obscure your view of its gorgeous world. Its puzzle design is similarly uncluttered and perhaps even a touch oversimplified, with only a couple of late-game mechanisms perplexing enough to give me pause. But that at least allowed me to relax and enjoy the serenity that comes from catching rides from flying ladybugs and exploring inky underwater sections by the glowing light of a school of jellyfish. While there are some enemies of sorts to be found in Hua, there are no death states or damage to be suffered of any kind. Mechanical spiders can lash out at Hua, but the worst they can do is knock her back on her heels a few paces. There are also giant creatures to encounter along the way, yet while these may have been threatening bosses in a lot of other games, here they're friends rather than foes. The chieftains of each habitat that task you with hunting down butterflies in exchange for clearing a path forward. There is one action-heavy chase sequence late in the adventure, but it's a cutscene designed to inject some drama into Hua's story, rather than a tricky playable platforming section to intentionally induce stress. For the most part, Hua is like a warm bubble bath for your brain, with almost every element of its experience engineered to soothe. Hua will warm your heart, but it won't make it beat any faster. In fact, the only arrhythmic effect its beauty creates is on the occasionally stuttering frame rate. There are some standout moments in Hua, like stumbling upon a wrestling arena full of rhino beetles, or scaling a vertical maze made out of the glistening threads of a spider's web. But it's the story's climax that I found to be the most memorable. It's here that the color palette shifts to a stark black and white, and you get to play through a series of remixed elements from the previous stages, with interesting wrinkles like mirrored landscapes and rotating environments that make the puzzle platforming substantially more involved. The sudden surge of inventiveness in this final 15-minute stretch made me wish that Hua could have gone on a little longer. If not longer, then I at least wish there were some more secrets to find. Hua earns a few movement upgrades as you progress, but despite the fact that a double jump ability allows you to reach some previously inaccessible areas off the main path, there's nothing to find when you get there. Hua is a mostly linear adventure, which is a shame because its environments are so spellbinding that I would have relished some more incentives to explore them. Hua is a beautiful but brief puzzle platform adventure that made for a relaxing evening's worth of entertainment. It features no major physical threats nor any puzzles that are particularly obtuse, so cruising through its hand-painted slices of nature gave me a pleasantly Zen-like experience. It's a shame that the substantially more inventive final sequence wasn't fleshed out even further, and I wish there were some additional reasons to explore its small selection of environments. But otherwise, Hua is a breezy little jaunt that's all chilling and no killing. For more IGN reviews, check out our verdicts on Psychonauts 2 and Road 96. And for all your other relaxation needs, maybe try meditation and stick with IGN.